shit, hold on. Did it start? Oh my gosh, it just kicked us out. I did not mean to say that. I just got kicked off on... Hold on, Nate. I just got kicked off on X. They just shut down my space. Okay, hang on. Show... Nathaniel, hold on. Thank you.
Why did you do...
I don't know what was going on. I gotta invite Shaul. Hold on.
You realize that was on live.
Yeah, I do.
Why did you have to do that? You could have just showed me a sign of it instead of...
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Whatever.
Something like that.
Okay. Go. Sorry, Shaul. We're just out of sorts here. Go ahead, Nate.
Okay, this is my song called Peaches, which is just from the Mario movie, recreated in piano by me, the best piano expert. Ready?
Did you turn the volume up?
3, 2, 1. Oh, let me try that again.
Nate, there's no volume. You turn the volume off. Nobody can hear anything. Okay, now we can hear everything. You had the volume volume totally down on the computer. Nice job there going, buddy.
I'm gonna try it one more time.
Yeah, you might want to start that.
I keep messing up. Okay, one more time, and if I mess up, I'm done. Here we go. Okay, next song. Here we go.
Hold on a
Classic.
second.
Third song.
This is why I stopped.
Oh, let me try that again. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Now I'm just gonna set this recording real quick. Here we go. So I'm gonna set this recording real quick. Alright. Now it's time for the full song. You just gotta wait for a while though. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Oh, let me try that again. Okay, one more time. One more time. Okay? One more time.
Here, I'm gonna turn it that way.
One time. 3, 2, 1. You guess what the song was? You got 5 seconds to decide which song it was. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The song was, if you guessed correct, it was actually the Starman theme from Super Mario Brothers 1 and All Stars.
How could we have ever guessed?
And you have 6 seconds this time for the second song.
No, that's gonna be no. We're gonna move on to the next one. Nathaniel,
Come on.
that was a long time with me. I'm gonna spin it around, and we're going to do some praise and worship. Welcome everyone. Shabbat Shalom. If you're just joining us, we have Brother Shaul who is joining us as well. Shaul, if you wanna say hello. You there?
Yep. Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you. Yep.
Can't hear you okay.
My sound's not coming through all right?
Oh, now we are. Yeah, I didn't know what happened. It was just a little fuzzy there for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start some praise and worship and get through these 3 songs, and then we will go ahead and start with the teaching. We just like to have some praise and worship to praise the Father and give him a little bit of worship before we get started. You know, he loves to hear our voices praising him. You know, he's a jealous God, so he wouldn't have it any other way. All right.
Do not let them
Okay.
raise your rate.
That's not what we want to hear. Just give me a second here.
Hit the end button and
Nations will see your righteousness, and all kings your glory. And you will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. You who call on the Lord, give yourselves no rest, and give him no rest, till he establishes Jerusalem and makes her the praise of all the earth. Spirit of the sovereign Lord, come and make your presence known, reveal the glory of the living God. Spirit of the sovereign Lord, come and make your presence known, reveal the glory of the living God. Let the weight of your glory cover us. Let the life of your river flow. Let the truth of your kingdom reign in us. Let the weight of your glory
commercial. Just bear with us. And another commercial. Love these commercials. Alright. Gotta go.
Before I bring my need, I will bring my heart. Before I lift my cares, I will lift my arms. I wanna know you, I wanna find you in every season, in every moment. Before I bring my need, I will bring my heart and seek you. I wanna seek you, I wanna seek you. I wanna keep you, I wanna keep you. More than anything I want you. Before I speak a word, let me hear your voice. And in the midst of pain, let me feel your joy. Ooh, I wanna know you, I wanna find you in every season, in every moment. Before I speak a word, I will bring my heart and seek you. I wanna seek you, I wanna seek you. I wanna keep you, I wanna keep you. More than anything I want you. You are my treasure and my reward. Let nothing ever come before. You are my treasure and my reward. Let nothing ever come before. I seek you. I wanna seek you, I wanna seek you. I wanna keep you, I wanna keep you. More than anything I want you.
Okay.
This audiobook on Amazon?
No, we don't want to hear about Amazon.
Or an audiobook from it.
Right?
Would be nice if we could roast ads and then they'd be deleted.
You're my beloved, you're my bride. To sing over you is my delight. Come away with me, my love. Under my mercy, come and wait till we are standing face to face. I see no stain on breathe my life inside of you. I'll bear you up on eagle's wings and hide you in the shadow of my strength. I'll take you to my quiet waters. I'll restore your soul. Come rest in me and be made whole. You're my beloved, you're my bride. To sing over you is my delight. Come away with me, my
Hallelujah. I love that. I love for the father should be like a husband, and even in his word he says that it should be like him as a groom. And that song just really resonates with me. I love that song. It's just a nice peaceful song to praise Yahuwah. Alright. We'll go ahead and get started on the teaching. Brother Shaul is joining us. I'm not sure if anybody heard you. My lovely son here didn't have the speakers on, so nobody heard anything, just seen our mouths moving. So, welcome. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shaul, are you with us, brother?
Yeah, I was able to hear what Nate was playing, but I'm not sure who was able to hear, but yeah.
Fun times.
Playing piano.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the Torah portion of this session. It's going to be called Bamidbar, which means in the wilderness. And Brother Shaul, were you wanting to read the Torah portion of that, or were you just wanting to listen, or what did you want to do?
Yeah, I can do some reading for sure. So, for those who are new to this, maybe they don't know much about Abrit or Hebrew. The name is again Bamidbar. The Beit prefix means in, and Midbar means from the desert or the wilderness.
Oh, okay.
And it's the very first, it's the fourth word in on the first verse there. It says, Vaydaber Yahuwah al Moshe, and then said Yahuwah to Moshe, Bamidbar, which is translated in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of meeting on the first day of the second month, in the second year, after they had come out from the land of Mitzrayim to Egypt, saying, Take you the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male by their polls. So, this is the reason why it was called Numbers, because they were numbering the people of the tribes. first day of the second month. So about a month away from where we are now, as we're almost concluded the second month of this current scriptural year. So take you the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel by their families, according to their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. You will number them by their hosts, even you will, and Aaron. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one the head of his father's house. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you: Reuben, Elitzur, the son of Shedeur, and from Shimon we have Shalamiel, the son of Surishadai, and from Yehuda we have Nachshon, the son of Aminadab, and from Yishashkar we have Tanakh, the son of Tzuar. From Zebulun we have Eliab, the son of Halan. From the children of Yosef we have Ephraim, Elishama, and who's the son of Amikud. And we have Manasseh, Gamliel, the son of Pedazur. From the tribe of Benjamin we have Abidan, the son of Gedani. From Dan we have Achiezer, the son of Amishadai. And from Asher we have Pagaiel, the son of Achran. From Gad we have the son Eliasab, the son of Deuel. From the tribe of Naphtali we have Achirai, the son of Onan. These were the elect from the congregation, the princes from the tribes of their fathers. These were the heads of thousands of Israel. And Moshe and Aaron took these men that are pointed out by name, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. So this is the New Moon Festival. And they declared their pedigree after their families by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. As Yahuwah had commanded Moshe, so he did number them in the wilderness of Sinai. And so the children of Reuben, that is the firstborn of Israel, by their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names by their polls, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. They had to be age 20 to be going to war at that time. And those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. From the children of Shimon, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, those that were numbered thereof, according to the number of names, by their polls, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, of the tribe of Shimon, were 59,300. From the children of Gad, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them from the tribe of Gad, were 45,650. From the sons of Yehuda, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 12 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered from them of the tribe of Yehudah were 314,600. From the tribe of Yishashkar, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Yishashkar were 54,400. From the tribe of Zebulun, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth toward those that were numbered from them of the tribe of Zebulun were 57,400. From the tribe of Yehudah, namely the children of Abraham, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Ephraim were 40,500. From the children of Manasseh, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go to war, those that were numbered of them from the tribe of Manasseh were 32,200. From the sons of Benjamin, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered from them, from the tribe of Benjamin, were 35,400. From the children of Dan, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered from them, the tribe of Dan, were 32,700. From the children of Asher, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered from them of the tribe of Asher were 41,500. From the tribe of Naphtali, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered from them, from the tribe of Naphtali, were 53,400. These are those that were numbered, which Moshe and Aaron numbered, and the princes of Israel, being 12 men. They were each one for his father's house. And all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by their houses, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel, even all those that were numbered were 600,000 and 3,550. But the tribe of Levi, after their tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Howbeit the tribe of Levi you shall not number, neither shall you take the sum of them among the children of Israel. But appoint you the tribe of Levi over the tabernacle of the testimony, and over all the furniture there, and over all that belongs to it. They will bear the tabernacle and all the furniture thereof, and they will minister to it, and will encamp round about the tabernacle. And when the tabernacle goes forward, the tribe of Levi will take it down, and when the tabernacle be pitched, the tribe of Levi will set it up. And the common man that draws near shall be put to death.
I just want to interrupt for a minute. When you were reading, I was thinking about all of these numbers that were listed like it's an exact, like a matter of fact, do you think that this is the number of tribes or the number of people that, of the tribes that will be brought out when we have our Exodus? Because, like, even though there were all these people that were brought out, and I know that, you know, Yahuwah says that a small number is going to be brought out, you know, a small remnant is going to be rising out. Even though they went into the wilderness, they weren't all, you know, chosen because of what happened, you know, at the Mount of Korah when they decided to do the whole calf, you know, worshiping and stuff like that. So they weren't safe even though they went into the wilderness, is what I was saying. So all of these people that we're hearing that were listed, these could have been amongst the children of Korah, right?
Well, you have to remember that this is talking about the men that were 20 and over that were able to go to war. That's the first thing we have to remember. So this number we have in verse 46, it says 600,000 and 3,550. So a little over 600,000 men over 20 that were able to go to war. That's not including the tribe of Louis in verse 47. So we don't know how many men were of fighting age to go to war over 20 amongst the tribe of Louis. But we can kind of get an idea for it, you know, looking at some of the other lineages. You know, most of them were about 60,000, 46,000, 40,000, you know, looking at the other tribes. So some fairly even numbers, usually around 32 to 40,000 men, looking back over the other verses. So Ashley, we're reading from Number chapter 2 right now. We've just been discussing, Numbers 1 we just finished reading almost. And we're just answering this question about the significance of these numbers. So we're talking about fighting men that were able to go to war over the age of 20. And this is just it's not talking about the women.
Right.
So we don't really have an accurate view here of the exact population as far as who would have actually made it along this journey that Yah is leading them on. But from what I've read and heard before, it was something close to 2 million. Was usually what I've seen estimated. But
do you think that that's what's going to happen again?
Well,
I know it's a loaded
really
question.
I don't know what the world's population was back then. So, you know, you have to look at the fact that they claim we have 7 billion. Whether that's accurate or not is probably false. But,
well, I think that's what the reading was like in 2016 is 7 billion. But now, yeah.
Well, you know, I think that 2 million here, as a rough estimate of people in a journey with Yah and His tabernacle, is a lot better than the select 144,000 that the Revelations is only going to need.
I don't know. Where did they even come up with that number, though?
Those are the special ones, though. So who knows about what they're estimating for everyone else? But
I don't know where they're coming up with all that, though.
Well, yeah. Of course, it's only the Gentiles that make it according to them. Because if you don't accept Yeshua or Jesus, then you have no hope. So if you just follow what the Torah says and follow Yah and the tabernacle and the feasts and the commandments and love Him with all your being, that's
no, and that's the thing. What's even scarier about that is, you know, a lot of the Messianics and Christians that I talk about, or that I talk to on X, they tell me flat out, well, okay, well, if I am wrong, say I am wrong, you don't think the Father's going to have mercy on me? I'm like, no, if you're worshiping another God aside Him, he's like, you know what, gavel time. If you don't listen to the people who I'm putting in front of you that are bringing you the truth, who line up with my word, because we're told very clearly in Deuteronomy, if there be a prophet among you and he say, let's go follow the nation's God, do not follow him, for he is a deceiver of Yahuwah. And what happened to him? Why, he was hung from a tree. Was that the punishment? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So no, Yahuwah's not going to go light on you, even if you are like, oh, I didn't know. Well, you did know. The research was done for you. And that's scary. That's a very, very scary thought when you think about it. When, from a perspective of being, Torah only, and looking in on Christians, and they think that they're walking on this heavenly palace serving, this Jesus character, when it's literally the road to frickin', damnation. It's just comical, but at the same time, it's heart-wrenching and sad, because, Yahuwah says, I'm going to close the ears of them. I'm going to close the eyes of them, so they purposely do not get it, just so I can destroy them and have a reason to. I mean, those are pretty harsh words to hear from our Father. But he's laid down his law. He's given it 400 generations, or not 400 generations, but 400 years per each, generation. So, not generation, civilization, whatever you want to call it. So he's given us this time to get it right, and given people who know the information, accessible. It's not like it's hidden knowledge anymore. It's literally not. It's not occult knowledge.
Yeah. So we were just in chapter 51, chapter 1, verse 51 there. It says that when the tabernacle is pitched, that a common person cannot draw near to the tabernacle. So this shows you the seriousness with which Yah had it, that only the tribe of Levi was to minister in the tabernacle. So
they were the mediators, basically. Like how the New Testament claims that it was Jesus who was the mediator. This right here is telling you right here, no, it was the Levites. They were the ones who were the ministers. They were the ones who communicated with Yahuwah, who, were responsible for atoning the sins through the Father. That was their duty. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd also wonder a bit about, there's that example of the temple, which, is different from the tabernacle in my opinion, but in the days of the first century, and you've got Yeshua, Jesus, going and turning over the tables of the money changers, and from my understanding, they were allowed to change, from people that are going from a long journey to visit. They were allowed to do that, so he had no right to be turning over those money changers for trying to bring offerings to Yah, basically. Go to verse 52 here. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, everyone with his own camp, everyone with his own standard, according to their hosts. I just wanted to interject as well to Ashley listening who cases. At the bottom right, there's a little chat.
Oh,
and that leads to
Ashley's in here.
Alright. So you can leave a question or a text or whatever in the general chat. So that's what's called the purple pill. That's how we interact. The other way is you click on the little heart and the raised hand thing at the far right. And that'll put a hand up and give you the spear if you want.
Welcome,
So
Ashley.
ask questions. And I'm going to go to verse 153 now. I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
So the tribe of Levi pitch round about the tabernacle of the witness, that there be no wrath upon the congregation of the sons of Israel, the children of Israel. And the tribe of Levi will keep charge of the tabernacle of the testimony. And so they did, the children of Israel, according to all that Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. So they did. Are we ready for chapter 2 here?
Yep.
Okay. Numbers chapter 2. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and said to Aaron, saying, the children of Israel will pitch by their fathers' houses, every one with his own standard according to their ensigns. A little ways off shall they round about the tent of meeting. Now those that pitch on the east side toward the rising of the sun will be those of the standard of the camp of Yehudah, according to their hosts. The prince of the children of Yehudah being Nachshon, the son of Aminadab, and his host, and those that were numbered of him, were 314,600. And those that pitched next to him shall be from the tribe of Yishkar, the prince from the children of Yishkar being Netanel, the son of Tzor, and his host, even those that were numbered thereof, 54,400. And from the tribe of Zebulun, the prince of the children of Zebulun being Eliab, the son of Chalon, and his host, and those that were numbered thereof, 57,400. All that were numbered of the camp of Yehudah, being 100,000 and fourscore thousand, and 6,400, according to their hosts, they will set forth first. On the southern side shall be the standard from the camp of Reuben, according to their host. The prince of the children of Reuben, being Elitzur, the son of Shaddai, and his host, and those that were numbered thereof, 46,500. And those that pitch next to him shall be the tribe of Shemaim, the prince of the children of Shemaim being Shelumiel, the son of Suri Shaddai, and his hosts, and those that were numbered from them, 59,300. And from the tribe of Gad, the prince from the children of Gad being Eliatzab, and the son of Ru, and his host, even those that were numbered from them, 45,650. All that were numbered from the camp of Reuben, being 100,050, and 1,450, according to their hosts, and they will set forth second. Then the tent of meeting, with the camp of the tribe of Levi, will set forward in the midst of the camps. As they encamp, so they will set forward, every man in his place, by their standards. On the west side shall be the standard of the camp of Ephraim, according to their host. The prince of the children of Ephraim, being Abishai, who was the son of Amihud, and his host, and those that were numbered of them, 40,500, and next unto him shall be the tribe of Manasseh, the prince from the children of Manasseh, being Gamliel, the son of Pedetsur, and his host, and those that were numbered of them 32,200. And from the tribe of Benjamin, prince of the children of Benjamin, being Abidan, son of Gideon, and his host, those that were numbered of them 35,400. All that were numbered from the camp of Ephraim, being 100,000 and 8,100, according to their hosts, and they will go forth third. On the north side will be the standard of the camp of Dan, according to their hosts. The prince of the children of Dan, being Achiazar, the son of Amishadai, and his host, and those that were numbered from them, 32,700. And those that pitched next to him will be the tribe of Asher, the prince of the children of Asher, being Haggiel. He is the son of Ekron, and his host, and those that were numbered of them, 41,500. From the tribe of Naphtali, the prince from the children of Naphtali, being Athrai, the son of Ainan, and his host, and those that were numbered from them, 53,400. All that were numbered from the camp of Dan, being 100,050 and 7,600. They will set forth at the back by their standards. These are those that were numbered of the children of Israel by their fathers' houses, all that were numbered from the camp, according to their hosts, were 600,000 and 3,550. But the tribe of Lui were not numbered among the children of Yahuwah, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. So did the children of Israel, according to all that Yahuwah had commanded them. So they pitched by their standards. So they moved forward, each one according to their family and according to their fathers' houses. So pretty straightforward. You've got the tabernacle of Yah as the center, and then 4 encampments to each of the 4 directions. Chapter 3. Now these are the generations of Aaron and Moshe in the day that Yahuwah spoke with Moshe in the Mount Sinai. And these are the names of the sons of Aaron. Nadab, the firstborn, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests that were anointed, whom he set apart to minister in the priest's office. And Nadab and Abihu died before Yahuwah, when they offered strange fire before Yahuwah in the wilderness of Sinai. They had no children. And Eleazar and Ithamar ministered in the priest's office in the presence of Aaron their father.
Hey, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question. So this temple that they're trying to do, the third temple, right? That they're trying to resurrect or create.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be like the same kind of scenario? Because they're going to try and do a sacrifice, but in the land where they're trying to do it, they have the god Tammuz there. They have that nativity that's there. So they can't perform this sacrifice with that there, because it's a defilement of the land. It's a worship of another god. So I'm just wondering if this is going to be like the same kind of scenario. And because I did the reading earlier today on this, and And these are just like the questions that like popped in my head is like, is this what we're walking into again? Because we're supposed to be walking, back to the Garden of Eden. That would mean we'd have to walk through this again. And they're trying to do this sacrifice there. They're talking about doing the heifer.
Yeah, I mean, the first question that I would ask anybody trying to perform an offering is, how do you verify that you're a priest from the tribe of Levi?
Exactly.
So I wouldn't go near any type of person that's trying to perform an offering that isn't a part of the priesthood. Firstly, and I think secondly, they have to have a relationship with the Most High in such a way that they would know for sure that what they're doing is directly from Him according to scriptures. But I don't see that happening. I think that Deuteronomy 30 will have to come to pass before Yah establishes the tabernacle, or however He's going to dwell with us. And I think it will be again back in the pristine valley of Shechem. But that's just my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some readings that I came across, like in Isaiah. I believe it was like Isaiah 28, and Zephaniah. Those two books, or two chapters, they clash together pretty well. And they talk about, offering strange fire just like Aaron's sons did. Like, it totally references this. So that's what I was asking. And Zephaniah speaks of the time when Gaza is destroyed and Damascus is a heap of ruins, and then Israel becomes a cup of trembling. So that's what I was asking, if you had any insight on that.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about eschatological stuff as we encounter them. Okay, so where were we left off? Verse 5, was it?
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, verse. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, bring the tribe of Levi near, and set them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister to him. And they will keep his charge, and the charge of the whole congregation before the tent of meeting, to do the service of the tabernacle. And they will keep all the furniture of the tent of meeting, and the charge of the children of Israel, to do the service of the tabernacle. And you will give to tribe of the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. These are entirely given to him from the children of Israel. And you will appoint Aaron and his sons, that they may keep their priesthood, and the common man that draws near shall be put to death. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, and I, behold, I have taken from the tribe of Levi, from the children of Israel, instead of every firstborn that opens the womb amongst the children of Israel, the tribe of Levi shall be mine. For all the firstborn are mine. On the day that I smote the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, I set apart unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine will they be, I am Yahuwah. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, number the children of Levi by their fathers' houses, by their families, every male from a month old upwards will you number them. And Moshe numbered them according to the word of Yahuwah as he was commanded. And these were the sons of Levi by their names. Gershon, this was the son of Kohath, and also Merari. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their family. Libni, and we have Shimei. And the sons of Kohath, we have by their family Amram and Itzhar, Hebron, and Aziel. The sons of Merari by their families, we have Mechli and Mut. These are the families from the tribe of Levi according to their fathers' houses. And from Gershon, we have the family of Libni, the family of Shimei. These are the families of the tribe of Gershon. Those that were numbered of them, according to the number of their males, from a month old and upward, even those that were numbered from them, were 7,500. The families of Gershon were to pitch behind the tabernacle westward. The prince of the father's house of Gershon, being Eliasaph, the son of Lael. And the charge of the sons of Gershon in the tent of meeting, the tabernacle and the tent, the covering thereof, and the screen for the door of the tent of meeting, and the hangings of the court, and the screen for the door of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and by the altar round about, and the cords of it, whatsoever pertains to the service thereof. And so, from Kahat was the family of Amram, and the family of Itzhar, and the family of Hebron, and the family of Aziel. These are the families of Kohath, according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward, 8,600, the keepers of the charge of the sanctuary. The families of the sons of Kohath were to pitch on the side of the tabernacle, the south. The prince of the father's house of the families of Kohath, being Elitzapan, who was the son of Aziel. And their charge was the ark, and the table, and the candlestick, and the altars and the vessels of the sanctuary, wherewith the priests would minister, and the screen, and all that pertains to the service thereof. Now, Elitzar, the son of Aaron the priest, being the prince of the princes of the tribe of Levi, and having the oversight of those that keep charge of the dwelling.
So this is such a big deal, is keeping charge over the sanctuary. The priesthood was held to a very, very strict code here. And it wasn't just them, it was the other tribes that helped. Like, you had tribes that helped out with the wood that was always needing to be prepared for the altar, and the incense of, the burning of the incenses. There was always needing somebody to have incenses ready to go. And so, but the Levites were charged. So if somebody's charged with something, that means, like, till death do you part, you are holding that vow to the Father. You will not allow this priesthood to go astray. And that's what these Levites were specifically vowed to. So, and when you put this in a context of Isaiah 53, it fits perfectly with the prophet priesthood. Being the ones that they didn't know that they were going to give their lives in such horrific manners, but they knew that they were charged their whole life as the firstborns, dedicated to the Father, to whatever service he called them to do. And even if that meant even into death. So, and that's what we see. That's the Isaiah 53. That's all the prophet priests that protected the Torah, that didn't allow it to be, to go astray. But as we can see, Isaiah saw it in half, and Jeremiah, he was beaten, his beard plucked out. I mean, there's your New Testament story right there, that the scholars, lying pen of the scribes, failed to understand because they didn't understand context in Hebrew. And even Origen says he didn't understand it when he was putting it all together. He was literally just carrying out an assignment, so it wasn't of importance to him, to translate the Father's words the correct way. And I think that this is, just like Isaiah says, it's the lying pen of the scribes that misled Yahuwah's people. So, but the priesthood, definitely super, super important, and fits the description of the prophet priest for Isaiah 53. And they even had children too, so they got to have children and see them, their days prolonged. So, I mean, right? Most of the didn't Jeremiah have children? Because I know Yahuwah told him not to go in. He said, when you go into the land, do not have children in this land. So, I don't know. Okay, going tangent. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's been a while since I looked at Yirmiyahu. So I can't remember really. But,
No worries.
so, from the family of Merari, we had Nechli and Mushi, as we read earlier. These are the families of Merari, and those that were numbered from them, according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward, were 6,200. The prince of the fathers' houses of the families of Merari, being Suriel. This was the son of Abichil. They were to pitch on the side of the tabernacle to the north. The appointed charge of the sons of Merari, being the boards of the tabernacle, the bars thereof, the pillars thereof, the sockets thereof, and all the instruments thereof, and all that pertain to the service thereof, and the pillars of the court round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords. And those that were to pitch before the tabernacle to the east, before the tent of meeting, toward the sunrise, were Moshe and Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary, even the charge for the children of Yisrael, and also the common man that draws near was to be put to death. All those that were numbered of the tribe of Levi, whom Moshe and Aaron numbered at the commandment of Yahuwah by their families, all the males from a month old and upward, were 22,000. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, number all the firstborn males of the children of Israel from a month old and upward, and take the number of their name, and you will take the tribe of Levi for me, even unto Yahuwah, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the tribe of Levi, instead of all the firstling amongst the cattle of the children of Israel. And so Moshe numbered, as Yahuwah had commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and all the firstborn males according to the number of names, from a month old and upward, from those that were numbered of them, were 22,213. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, take the tribe of Levi instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the tribe of Levi instead of their cattle, and sanctuary shall be mine, even unto Yahuwah. And as for the redemption of the 213 of the firstborn of the children of Israel that are over and above the number of the tribe of Levi, you will take 5 shekels apiece by their poll. After the shekel of the dwelling place, you will take the shekel is 20 gerahs, and you will give the money wherewith they remain over of those that are redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons. And Moshe took the redemption money from those that were over and above them that were redeemed by the tribe of Levi. From the firstborn of the children of Israel he took the money, 1,365 shekels, after the shekel of the dwelling place. And Moshe gave the redemption money to Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of Yahuwah, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Alright. Last chapter, number 4.
Yep. Did you want to take that one?
Sure, I can.
Okay.
I'm just swapping out seats here. I had to turn my AC down because it was so loud, and well, now my fan's on, so hopefully that's not even louder. Can you hear that?
No, it's fine.
sounds
I just thought maybe this
Turn it down one
the
more.
portion in
Turn it down.
Hosea is part.
Good one.
Stop. I'm scared of being my hands.
Okay. What was that, Shoal?
Just that I thought you'd like to take this one because the portion in Hushai, Hosea, is pretty short.
Okay. Alright, Numbers 4 says, And Yahuwah spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and upward, even until 50 years old, all that enter upon the service to do work in the tent of meeting. This is the service of the sons of Kohath in the tent of meeting, about the most holy things. When the camp setteth forward, Aaron shall go in, and his sons, and they shall take down the veil of the screen, and cover the ark of the testimony with it, and shall put thereon a covering of sealskin. Oh, here it is again. Sealskin. And shall spread over it a cloth all of blue, and shall set the staves thereof. And upon the table of showbread they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the pans, and the bowls, and the jars, wherewith to pour out, and the continual bread shall remain thereon. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of sealskin, and shall set the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and its lamps, and its tongues, and its snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they minister unto it. And they shall put it all, and they shall put it and all the vessels thereof within a covering of sealskin, and shall put it upon a bar. It's not sealskin; it's something else. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, and cover it with a covering of sealskin, and shall set the staves thereof. No, it's not sealskin. It's not kosher.
I said toe.
It's gotta be something else. No, not toe skin
Is
either.
toe skin kosher?
No. Okay, verse 12.
Toenails?
Okay. And they shall take all the vessels of ministry wherewith they minister in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of sealskin, and put them on a bar. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon, And they shall put upon it all the vessels thereof wherewith they minister about it, the firepans, the flesh hooks, and the shovels, and the basins, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread upon it a covering of sealskin, and set the staves thereof.
And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the holy furniture and all the holy vessels, not to forget, as the camp is to set forward after that, the sons of Kohath shall come to bear them, but they shall not touch the holy things, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tent of meeting.
Interesting. Yeah. And the charge of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be the oil for the light,
And the sweet incense.
and the continual meal offering, and the anointing oil. He shall.
Oh,
Okay, we need to. He shall have the charge of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein is, whether it be the sanctuary or the furniture thereof.
And Yahuwah spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Cut ye not off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites, or Levites. But thus do unto them, that they may live and not die. When they approach unto the most holy things, Aaron and his sons shall go in, and appoint them every one to his service and to his burden. But they shall not go in to see the holy things as they are being covered, lest they die.
So pretty strict rules here
Kinda
for the
like
Levites.
school rules.
Oh no, that's way harsher.
Way worse than school rules.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
dumb school rules, like you can't have a hoodie in class.
Oh.
Like what if someone's trying to warm themselves up, you know?
Sure. Okay, let's go on to verse 21.
Like dumb.
And Yahuwah shall... Huh?
thought I would clarify that the word sealskin that you keep trying to correct is spelled tau, hesh, shin. And most of the commentary references that you look at describe this as badger skin or dolphin skin or the dugong. So they really didn't know how to translate the hesh properly, but it's obvious that they weren't living near dolphins and dugongs and whatever else. No,
Burp.
so
Right. What do you think it is,
in
though?
any case,
Excuse me.
I would just say fur covering would probably be the best translation.
Like hide or something? Like some
Yeah,
kind of hide?
leather. Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Verse 22. Take the sum of the sons of Gershon also by their fathers' houses, by their families. From 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shalt thou number them. All that enter in to wait upon the service, to do service in the tent of meeting. This is the service of the families of the Gershonites in serving and in bearing burdens.
They shall bear the curtains of the tabernacle and the tent of meeting, its covering, and the covering of sealskin, or
Leather.
that is above upon it, and the screen for the door of the tent of meeting, and when the hangings of the court, and the screen for the door of the gate of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and the altar round about, and their cords, and all the instruments of the service, and whatsoever there may be to do with them, therein shall they serve.
It's all about serving. Like these Levites.
Not serving Jesus, or
all
that
about
Jesus character.
serving in the tabernacle. This was really pretty harsh. Not harsh. It just very demanding, and it had to be done a certain way, as you can see. Okay, verse 27. At the commandment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of the Gershonites, in all their burden and in all their service, and ye shall appoint unto them in charge all their burden. This is the service of the families of the sons of the Gershonites in the tent of meeting, and their charge shall be under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. As for the sons of Merari, thou shalt number them by their families, by their fathers' houses. From 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old shalt thou number them. Every one that entereth and hang on. More smart skin just popped up. Where'd it go? And every one that entereth under the upon the service to do the work of the tent of meeting, and this is the charge of their burden, according to all their service in the tent of meeting, the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and the sockets thereof, and the pillars of the core round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords, even all their appurtenance, and all that pertaineth to their service, and by the name of you shall appoint the instruments of the charge of their burden. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari, according to all their service in the tent of meeting, under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. And Moses and Aaron and the princes of the congregation numbered the sons of the Kohathites by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entered upon the service for service in the tent of meeting. And those that were numbered of them by their families were 2,750. These are they that were numbered of the families of the Kohathites, of all that did serve in the tent of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandment of Yahuwah by the hand of Moses. And those that were numbered of the sons of Gershon by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entered upon the service for service in the tent of meeting. Even those that were numbered of them by their families, by their fathers' houses, were 2,630. These are they that were numbered of the families of the sons of Gershon, of all that did serve in the tent of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandment of Yahuwah. And those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari by their families, by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entered upon the service for service in the tent of meeting. Even those that were numbered of them by their families were 3,200. These are they that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandment of Yahuwah by the hand of Moses. All those that were numbered of the Levites, whom Moses and Aaron and the princes of Israel numbered by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entered in to do the work of service and the work of bearing burdens in the tent of meeting. Even those that were numbered of them were 8,580. According to the commandment of Yahuwah, they were appointed by the hand of Moses, every one to his service, and to his burden they were also numbered, as Yahuwah commanded Moses. This is really, really important. This priesthood, really, I can't stress it enough. It's going to be really important come destruction. So, like, super, super important. And I don't know how the Father's going to distinguish, who are the Levites, like you said. Like, this is really important, though.
So I said that I think that he has to regather the track. That's one of the major focuses of the writings outside the Torah as well as in Deuteronomy. So he has to gather the tribes back before he can most likely number them and appoint them again.
Right.
And I just wanted to remind anyone that's listening to this broadcast to make use of the Brown Driver Briggs Hebrew to Aramaic lexicon. It takes a while to get used to how it's laid out and to find the words that you're looking for. But it's very emphatic in terms of the definitions and usages. And so under that word techesh, which they pronounce as teches, they don't pronounce the shin as a shin, they pronounce it as like the regular S, like a samic. But techesh number 8476 says specifically a kind of leather or skin, and the animal yielding it. Then it goes on to this dugong and dolphin thing. But in the conjugation of it, they state very clearly a leather conjugation could be referring to sheep. And similar views are stated by other scholars, such as Shipley. And according to texts like Exodus chapter 25:5, where we have it in the plural form, with the chashim, this was leather that was used for women's sandals, as well as Ezekiel 16 verse 10 and elsewhere. So we do have other usages for this, it's just it was badly translated in this, and as I said, if people don't believe me, it's just basically a leather covering. So
Gotcha. All right. You want to? I'll go ahead and continue with the Navim's writings.
yeah, for sure.
It looks like Nathaniel did a typo here. It's not Hosea 1:10.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's supposed to be. I'm like looking at that. I'm like, that's not what it's supposed to be.
It was a typo,
It's supposed to be Hosea 2.
but I must have been on the wrong Hosea.
That's okay. No worries. We'll go ahead and
You could
pull
just
it
hit
up.
Bible. Yeah.
They can show all the extra studies and looking at commentaries and stuff. Okay, so chapter 2 to what?
Just chapter 2.
Is chapter 2?
I'm gonna read all this.
You're gonna. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Nate,
gonna read
Nate's
all
on a
this.
power crunch right now. Let's do this.
Not power crunch. Power
Power
time.
slam.
Power time.
Power time. All right.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as
Hold
the
on,
sand of the
hold,
sea.
oh my gosh, slow down. Slow your
No!
roll. Slow down. Let people understand what you're
Okay.
saying. Slow
Okay.
down.
Alright, chapter 2, verse 1. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that instead of that which was said unto them, ye are not my people, it shall be said unto them, ye are the children of the living God.
Woof.
And the children of Judah and the children...
What's that?
You said Hosea 2, right?
Yeah.
I think you're in the wrong reading, unless I'm completely off here. Say to your children, Ami, in the Hebrew it's Lo Ami, which means not my people, and to your sister, Lo Ruchama,
Where?
which
Oh, in that, it's from the website that the Mecon website. That's what it, yeah, it says, it begins with, yet the number of the children of Israel.
Unless it is chapter 1.
But I see where it says, say ye unto your brethren, Ami, and your sisters, Rahuma. That's verse 3.
Yeah,
So I was
okay,
like-
so one is based, I was just using my, I just had my companion Bible out. I was going by that. That's the standard King James, so the versing is different in a KJV as opposed to the Tanakh. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Nate.
I'm Bibled out.
You're Bibled out.
I made up that word.
Go ahead, go.
Now it's your turn. No,
You wanted, come on, Mr. Powerhouse.
No, I'm too Bibled out.
You're not Bibled.
Yeah, I'm Bibled out. I'm definitely Bibled out.
We killed your rule. Okay.
Yep, you did.
Okay, we'll go ahead and continue. Verse 2. Oh, you want me to read verse 1 again?
No, I'm just
Oh.
pointing where you're reading.
And the children of Judah and the children of Israel shall be gathered together, and they shall appoint themselves one head. One. One.
Kind of sounds like one name for Yahweh.
And shall go up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. Say ye unto your brethren, Ami, and to your sisters, Ruhamah. Plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. And let her put away her harlotries from her face, and her adulteries from between her breasts. Lest I strip her naked, and set her in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst.
And I will not have compassion unto her children, for they are children of harlotry. For their mother hath played the harlot. She that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, that give me my bread and water, my wool and my flax. Kind of sounds like flaxseed. Mine oil and my drink. There.
Okay, so this is talking about scattered Israel, right? Shall make her as a wilderness. Like, when I think of that, like, make her as a wilderness, I think that, Yahuwah makes us wandering, He hides his face from us, and it's not until we start seeking him that we stop, doing the wandering in the wilderness, so to speak. And he sets her up like a dry land, like he will, dry up his word, at some point. I think that we're going to see that. Right now we have Yahuwah's words at our fingertips, and anybody can really look at it if they wanted to. But there's going to be a famine of the word, we're told too, that's going to happen. It's not just going to be a famine of, of diseases and things like that. It's going to be a famine of the word.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Creepy.
And so I think that this kind of talks about that. And he says...
The interesting part is that I mentioned to you earlier that they're beginning to harvest in the Jezreel Valley right now in Israel, the wheat harvest. And that's what that name means, is that the Mighty One will sow seed. So Zerai being the root word means seed, of course the seed of Al, and the Yad prefix being his hand. So his hand, the hand of Al sows seed is the literal translation of Israel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so basically he's saying that there's going to come a time when he gives them dry land with thirst. So right now we have a great wheat harvest in that valley. What makes you wonder, maybe is starting to restore things. I don't know.
I'm hoping so. I mean, literally. I mean, it's just getting kind of draining watching everyone who doesn't serve Yahuwah alone prosper, and I'm just like, wow, great to know you can live your life, and I'm still living mine, following the Father, waiting. It's a bittersweet moment, but at the same time, it's salvation. It's where does our salvation lie?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns, and I will make a wall against her, that she shall not find her path.
Yep.
And
that's Yahuwah shutting up the eyes, so his people can't see, and shutting up their ears so they can't hear when Yahuwah is speaking to his chosen. He's purposely going to make Christians and Messianics and those, not just that religion, all religion, all. If you're serving a God of your nation, your ears will be closed and your eyes will be closed. So you will hear, you will not see. And Yahuwah will have every right to destroy you because he's made it that way. He has made himself your enemy. He has made himself your enemy. And that's what he says he does when you leave him. So, go ahead, Nate. Sit up.
I just put my...
Go ahead, first name.
And she shall run after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then she shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then it was better than me now.
That's so important because what did we do? We left our first love. We left him. And Yahuwah's like, though you left me, I'm not going to hate you forever and have this judgment against you forever. I will gather you still to me, as a husband gathers his wife, and they will become one again. So this is really important here too. This is the whole understanding of getting out of her, my people, getting out of the whore of Babylon, is you leave what you were running to, right? It says you were running to your lovers, your many lovers, which would be these many religions. Because why? It's these gods who claim themselves to be who? The God, the one God. When Yahuwah is like, no, I am the one God. All these other gods are just demons that, are there to try to deceive you. And, there's other gods out there too that are trying to deceive you as well, but they work for me. And the joke's on you if you fall for them, because I'm going to test you through everything, to see if your heart is right with me or if you choose the nation's ways and their gods. So, this is really, really super, super important. Yahuwah is like, you are going to return to me as your first husband, because you're going to see that the grass isn't greener over there, so to speak. These are pretty important words to hear from our Father. Go ahead, Nate. First time.
For she did not know that it was I that gave her the corn and the wine and the oil, and multiplied unto her silver and gold, which they used for Baal.
Okay. Okay. Whoa. Calm down there.
Just doing a scary voice.
Calm down there, Tiger.
Doing a scary voice.
Slowly roll. All right. So that's really, really important too. Is all these people are saying, oh, I give my glory to this Jesus character,
or
of the New Testament, or whoever it is you want to call Jesus, Yeshua,
or just call
Hebrewize it. It's just okay. And Yahuwah's like, hello, I'm over here. I'm the one that gave you the corn. I'm the one that gave you the wine. I'm the one that gave you the oil, the silver, the gold, everything that you need to survive on. I'm the one that provided that. But you're going to sit there and turn around and give my glory to the nation's God? How dare you? And then you're going to give it to the Baalims of the nations too. So not just the demons of the nations, but the gods of the nations, right? Because there's a there's a god over each city, we're told, right? So the Baalims. This is really important, Christians and Messianics, for you to understand. Yahuwah did it. Stop giving his glory to whoever you think you can, because the nation said you should, because you were born into indoctrination. This is the ultimate test. This is a test of salvation. Are you going to continue to think that there is a man through the Father that dies for your sins just so you can be redeemed for them? Really? This is asinine thinking. And this is what the Father is demonstrating here in Hosea's words. He's like, you're an idiot. I did all of this for you. I'm your first husband. You're going to leave me. You're going to go astray to the nation's gods. See that, whatever it is you want to see on the other side, but I'm going to convict you, and I'm going to bring you back. and I'm going to show you that it was me all along that did this, not who you gave glory to. And that puts Christians and Messianics in the path of fire. Yahuwah has all grounds to destroy at that point. You don't want to get to this point. You want to get to the truth before the destruction happens. And Hosea is a very, very powerful book when it comes to explaining this. A very, very powerful book. So we'll go ahead and continue verse 11. Therefore will I take back my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will snatch away my wool, and my flax given to cover her nakedness. Why do you think Yahuwah is going to do this? Is he just a mean God and he just wants to be an Indian giver? I mean,
piss off everyone?
Right? No. There is logic behind this. Okay? You gave his glory away. Now he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to take back everything that I gave you since you want to give my glory away, and you can call upon your Baalim of the nations to come rescue you. Let's see how that works for you, shall we? And you can see the sarcasm in the Father's words here. I love it. I live off of sarcasm, so this is amazing to me. That he can break this down in such a way to give it to his children like he's not playing around. I'm going to take it all back. I give and I take away is what he tells us. Right?
Keep going.
So verse 12, and now will I uncover her shame in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. Did you see that? Yahuwah is going to show you, and he even tells you this in the book of Isaiah, that you're going to see this Jesus character, who is really Baal in disguise, be smite on Yahuwah's mountain. Mount Zion is where this is supposed to take place. All of Israel, even those who have been deceived, will see and be put to shame because you gave your glory. You gave his glory away. And you didn't think twice about a father's love for you as his children. And you didn't know your place with him. And that's super important to a father. Anyone who's a father, anyone who's a parent knows that respect is so important of their children. If you don't have respect from your children, what do you have? I mean, seriously, this is really, really important. So it says, verse 13, I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feasts, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her appointed seasons. And I will lay waste her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, these are my hire that my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of the Baalim, wherein she offered unto them. Right? Jesus, you guys offer your offerings unto this Jesus character. You offer your sins unto him so that he can go to his Father, which is really just Dagon in disguise. And that's where you're throwing your blessings to, your prayers to. Think about this.
In one book, huh?
It's telling you right here what you're doing through the nation's ways of the Baalim, your offerings. There's so many Christians and Messianics that are like, I'd give everything for this Jesus character. I'd, give everything I own.
How about you reverse that and say, I give everything to Yah. Not the Zeus character. Yeah, I made a sensor sound.
So it says in verse 15, and I will visit upon her the days of the Baalim, wherein she offered unto them, and decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and went after her lovers, and forgot me, saith Yahuwah. How many Christians and Messianics do you see with crosses, gold jewelry crosses around their necks, crosses in their earrings, bangles on their wrists with crosses on them, rings? I mean, all of these things are going to be brought to account because you've created images to represent your idol. When Yahuwah said you didn't see an image, all you heard was a voice. So stop lying and spreading lies that I never gave you to say.
Or fake rumors.
Yeah. Behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak tenderly unto her. See, this is where Yahuwah is going to give correction. And I will give her the vineyards from thence and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall respond there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith Yahuwah, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and shalt call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of the Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be mentioned by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beast of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow, and the sword, and the battle out of the land, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, and in justice, and in loving kindness, and in compassion. You see that? Yahuwah betroths us unto him in righteousness. Not some New Testament who claims to be the righteousness of God. We are the righteousness of God, but that man has taken the place of us. So that's what we should be fighting for, is our place with the Father, not what the nations want to claim it is. Verse 21. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in justice and in loving kindness and in compassion. I think I just read that. And I'll betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know Yahuwah. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will respond, saith Yahuwah. I will respond to the heavens, and they shall respond to the earth. And the earth shall respond to the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall respond to Jezreel. Would that be the Shemitah then? Shoal? Because of everything that's allowed to rest on that day?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So what we're seeing here is basically a very simple prophecy that, okay, Yah has given them drought and scattered them, and taken away rejoicing and all the jewelry and stuff, and then now he's bringing an oath with the beasts of the fields, the birds, the ground, and he's taking away the sword in battle and war. And so this is what people were expecting a future deliverance to look like. Then you have this issue of the wheat harvest, the oil, the wine, and that's why, again, this is why the name Israel with a Zayin instead of the letter Shin, meaning to sow the seed from the Mighty One, is important to, I guess, we're focusing on the Feast of Weeks and the wheat harvest. And so this is why it's really a poor way to think of the New Testament in terms that the reading that they want to go to is Matthew chapter 4, which is basically stating that Yeshua or Jesus is casting away the children of Abraham, and he's given a light to the Gentiles. And so the Gentiles are the wheat harvest. And it's just a very poor way of looking at prophecy, because it's not about converting Gentiles to an idolatrous religion. It's about restoring peace to the land, getting rid of battle and war. And look at the suffering of the beasts of the field right now. How cows and chickens and all that are being treated, So
Right.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and Nate wants to finish up the last part of it.
And I will sow her unto me in the land, and I will have compassion upon her that had not obtained compassion. And I will say to them that were not my people, Thou art my people. And they shall say, Thou art my God.
Here's another question. The Father says that we'll return to Him. Well, then the question becomes, well, what did we leave you for? And obviously, you could look back at the Torah and be like, oh, well, the golden calf. But then Isaiah makes it extremely clear, and so does Jeremiah, by revealing what the image is that the future nations.
You should watch the Ten Commandments if you want to know more about the golden calf. Just saying.
Okay. Anyways. You look at the idol that was given. It's in the image of a scarecrow. That's what Jeremiah says in his, in his letter that he wrote that was removed from canon by the Vatican. And,
What you doing, Jay?
Nate, close the door, please. Close the door. Okay, sorry about that. So, getting back to what I was saying, I lost my thought. I lost my thought. You went outside and it totally just blew me off. Okay, whatever, go ahead, she'll continue. Did you want to go ahead and dig into Matthew and prove it a liar? Casey has their hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Casey.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Shalom, brother. We're well.
What's up?
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks lately that I've been battling the what is the Christians' real name? What are they called?
Christian.
Oh yeah, Christians. I forgot that was a religion that was held before Rome decided to come along and steal it. But I did want to say something about Jeremiah.
Okay.
There's a pretty good invitation right here in verse 9, and it says, "It came to be, through her whoring, that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and wood." What does that sound like today? Doesn't that sound like Islam with their rock and then the Christians and their cross?
Yep. Exactly. And that's what I was getting to. You totally brought me back to my point that I was making was, we're given the image. This specific generation is given the image. I mean, we've been given it a long time. It's just not very many people have come to the realization of what Isaiah and Jeremiah are saying. Like, it's literally giving the exact description of these idols, like you mentioned in Jeremiah. So, yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for Israel to not get it now. We have all the knowledge here, and there's so many of us already that are, doing just this very thing, exposing the lies, that were spun by the lying pen of the scribes. So, yeah, this is super revealing.
Yeah, not to cut anybody off real quick, but actually I got accused of teaching the Talmud by reading Genesis through Deuteronomy. I literally told me that was the Talmud, and the rabbis are the ones that put that out, and the Dead Sea Scrolls are actually the true stuff.
Yeah, and the bad part about that is that the Dead Sea Scrolls are written by an eclectic sect of people that weren't recognized by the rest of Israel. That's why their scrolls were hidden away, because they weren't allowed to destroy them because they contained the name, but they weren't in line with the other extant texts. So that's why there's so much differences between the Dead Sea Scrolls and, let's say, the Shemiranit, the Samaritan text, and the Septuagint, which was basically the Greek translation of what they had at that time, and the Masoretic text, which was confirmed later. So when you compare, that's all like comparing all four of them, which I'm sure not very many people can do, but I put them side by side, and I'll look at a given text and I'll see, okay, what's the common consensus here? If A, B, and C do not agree with D, then D is the odd one out. So, you know, there's checks and balances to this process, but a lot of people won't consider that. They'll never go that deep. But yeah, I can totally see why people accuse you of being Talmudic. And even I was having a conversation with a Muslim person that I knew a couple months ago, and he was saying that, you know, our belief is that the Torah was altered, so Muhammad had the right version. I said, okay, well, just point out to me where it was altered. And he could never point it out. So I said, okay, well, I'll stick to these four other versions that are pretty much 99% agreement over this 13th century character, Muhammad. Yeah, it's getting kind of late here, so I was gonna definitely get into what we had lined up for the New Testament text.
Yeah. You want to go through that quickly, and we can.
Well, after reading it earlier today, realized that it would be, that alone would kind of be like more of an hour-long study, because he quotes from a lot of texts, and all of the texts are out of context and misinterpreted and misapplied.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do it on the Festival of Weeks coming up, or one of the days coming up.
Okay, the 11th is the festival.
Because that would be a really great study to get into, especially with what we've read just now. You know, it really just kind of shows the debunk, you know, by itself, without even having to go into much. Stop. Okay, Nathaniel, stop. Okay.
Let's see here.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'd have to break it down into a couple parts. I mean, the first 12 verses really isn't much, because it's basically this claim that Yeshua, Jesus, was tempted in the wilderness, and I mean, all that stuff is really kind of nonsense. There's no real
Death or
relevance
anything.
in the Old Testament text. It's just this guy being tempted, right? And how is that impressive to people? This made-up story that no one can verify, that has no historical value. You know, to me, the first 12 verses, you could just cut that out as a mythological tale that, if you want to believe it, okay, so a guy was tempted. That's no different than anybody else. Verse 13 is where we start getting into trouble, because then he starts quoting from Yeshayahu, and that's where we're out of context here. But basically, this chapter is basically a rejection of the people of Abraham, and then going to people that will listen to Yeshua or Jesus. that's a short summary of it. But we can definitely go over that and look at why the quotation is wrong. But the quotation brings you to a number of chapters in Yeshayahu or Isaiah that are really tied together. And if you didn't understand it, then you wouldn't see why this is out of context.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get you. It is a deep study.
And they're problematic texts too, because Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 2 and chapter 9 are really, really in-depth chapters that are made out to New Testament believers to think that Yeshua is referred to all throughout these, or he's this, that, and the other. When, number one, you've got problems with the English translation in Isaiah 2 and 9. In fact, in Yeshayahu, Isaiah 9 in particular, where it says the prince shall be the prince shall be called the Mighty One, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. You know that's not even found in the Septuagint? So the Greek translation of Isaiah, which is prior to what is commonly translated in most versions, didn't even have that in there.
Really?
So look it up for yourself if you have the Septuagint. You'll see it's not in there. And then what we do have in terms of the Masoretic text, which is kind of all we have to go by in this case, is definitely mistranslation in the common KJV English version. So, but yeah, those are big things to study out, and I'd rather do it in a proper fashion that takes it step by step. So, at some point, yeah, we should.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So, did we want to go ahead and close the space, or did you want to continue? Does anyone have anything else to?
I'm gonna head out. I gotta get up early myself, and
Yeah, I gotta get up early for work tomorrow too. Last day of the week, I guess, or not last day, but you know what I mean. Last work day of the week.
And for those who are listening, today is kind of the dark moon period where you're not able to see the last crescent or the waning crescent, and so tomorrow is going to be the day that we go to look for the crescent and sound the ram's horn. So we're looking forward to celebrating new moon, and certainly if you'd like to get together for a meeting tomorrow evening, maybe we could select some different texts, or maybe if there's another Torah portion that's available that's pertinent to the subject of the wheat harvest and such, you could go through that.
Yeah, they did actually have one. It was it's called the festival portion that Nathaniel and I came across. Where's it at, Nathaniel?
Okay.
Oh, go down.
Down.
No, not that
You
down.
said not that down.
Okay, up.
Hang
Just
on,
a little bit, just a little bit.
Is it in there?
No. Okay, go down.
No, it's not up here. Hold on, it's second show. Okay, the festival portion, which would be Exodus 19
And Ezekiel.
and Ezekiel 1 and Acts 2, if you want to do the gospel part on that one too.
Yeah, well, we'll see how difficult of a challenge it is. But, yeah, as long as we can get done by, like, around now, right about now, the stars are starting to come out, and would have time to go and check and see.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. Alright, well, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So,
All right. Shabbat Shalom, Shoal. Thank you for joining me and being my co-host.
yes, yeah.
All right. Is there anyone else who would like to add any comments or questions? Casey?
I do. Kidding.
Ashley?
Well, I'm gonna do a space in a couple of weeks because there's some Christians that I used to hang out with all the time. They're, they follow the Torah and Jesus or whatever. They wanted me to make a space and talk about this stuff. So, yeah, if you guys are available, that would be great to come in. And I don't know how much they're gonna really be there to talk, but we'll see how it goes. I haven't really put out a lot of content to them yet. And to be honest, me and my wife, we've only been really studying this for about a month now.
Right.
We
You were
were
telling me.
we were trapped in the JC crowd for about 10 years.
Yeah.
But we started looking at a couple things, and somebody came on my page and retweeted something that I said, and put a bunch of stuff out or whatever. And he was talking about this was the main thing that really was weird, because my wife, she said, "Do you see what he just said right there?" And what he posted the in Numbers where if the wife, if the man feels like the wife is cheating on him, whatever, and they go to the priest and they get the cup and they pour whatever, write down whatever it is, and they wipe it off into the cup, right? And then the wife drinks it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He put that as that was the cup that Jesus drank, and I'm just like, what?
No.
That doesn't make sense, because
That was for a sin. Like, that was like a sin that would cause death. I mean, really, okay,
Yeah,
if you want to go ahead and associate that with that, go right ahead, but that just makes it an omen.
A bad omen.
it doesn't, like, a lot of the stuff, like, and then he said the sign of Jonah, and I'm just thinking, like, well, Jonah didn't want to go to Nineveh, and he got punished. So are you saying that Jesus, or whatever, did he disobey God before he got sacrificed for everybody? Like, I'm just like, this isn't adding up.
No, it's not. Because the story is just, it's a fabrication of these different gods that are put together.
Like a Lego almost.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I mean, a month ago, I'm telling you, I was on a roll with this whole JC character and, like, the law and stuff like that. I was just, I was pushing all kinds of stuff. I mean, you guys talked to me a couple times.
Yeah.
And that one question that you asked was, can you find this in the Torah? You didn't, like, you can't even find it in the Tanakh, but just the Torah itself, I'm like, no, you can't. We tried to debunk that for almost a couple weeks, and we're just like, it's not here. There's nothing here for that. So, I mean, it was obvious that Yahuwah was talking to us, saying, hey, you're going somewhere where you're not supposed to be. You remember the wood and stone idols that Israel got, in trouble for? You're doing the same thing. Even though you don't think this guy is God, you don't think he's me, but you're still replacing me with him. That's what happened. It's replacement theology.
Yeah.
Everything that says God, they put that JC character right there, and you're taking Yahuwah out of the word, and that's dangerous.
Exactly. A jealous God is going to react in wrath if you're sitting there doing that kind of stuff.
He's gonna have a crap fit or a sharp or a Shiach fit.
Okay.
Yeah, so, that was just a couple things, but, so now we're doing some more research and stuff and looking through everything and, just trying to dot the I's and cross the T's, but I'm telling you, it's like, remember the last time we talked, it was 2 weeks ago, I said, I'm on the cup of saying, I don't know if I trust the New Testament or if I do still trust it, but now, honestly, I don't think I can trust it at all. This is 2 weeks later.
Yeah, the more you start digging into it and unpacking who's behind it all, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I believe this crap. there, you know, and there's parts in it, of course, that are true, but, and I'm talking about the parts of the end times, like what we're in right now. But it's nothing different than what Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel are warning scattered Israel about. It's just all of their words jumbled up into one, you know, into a revelation, so to speak, you know. But even that, where do you know, like Shaul was mentioning, you know, where do you get the 144,000 when the Torah says nothing about that? And it lists even more than 144,000. There's not just 12,000 chosen from each tribe. That there's nowhere in the Torah that it says that. Nowhere. So I mean,
Absolutely.
when you think about
That's
the chosen,
kinda one-
yeah, go ahead.
That's been one of the biggest things for me. It's like, you know, I've always taught people for the last 10 years, you know, 2 or 3 witnesses, and here I am, 0 to 1 witness, trying to prove this JC guy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, and I'm starting to look at it, and I'm just like, man, this is not good. This is not good, you know? I was like, oh, everybody's going to be like, where are you learning this stuff? And I've had a couple people say, where did you learn this from? I said, I haven't learned it from anybody. I've been researching what the Torah says. I've been researching God's Word, you know, even regardless of the New Testament, right? This is what I've always said to them. Even when I believed in that Messiah, right? I always told them that, you know, we shouldn't replace anything, and we need to read everything in context, and we need to get away from the Western ideology of Yahuwah and get into the Hebrew aspect of how he made his people.
Exactly.
So I've always told people that, you know, let's get out of this Greek lens and let's get into the actual Hebrew way of what it says, because, you know, anybody can take Greek and get a Messiah out of it. But if you go into the Hebrew itself, where is that Messiah at? Where does it say that some Messiah is going to come and save people? It doesn't. It says God is sovereign, God is Savior, God is King. I mean, there is no other. And he says he even goes to the Yahuwah even goes to the extent to say there is no other gods, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am the only God. Even these ones that you guys think are real, they're not real.
Exactly. And, you know, he says, and beside me. It doesn't say besides me. It says beside me. Meaning, like, there's no one next to me, as me, above me, below me, aside from me. None. None beside. And when I look, that's really the main part for me coming out of Christianity was Yahuwah hit me with Isaiah 40, like a ton of bricks. Like, none beside. And when you just chew on just the little itty bitty phrases right there, you're like, none. And then, you know, the wheels start spinning and you're like, no one, meaning not anywhere near you, not as you, you know, and you just break it down even further and further, and then you're like, oh my gosh, how wrong I have been, you know. And yeah, it's powerful, you know, when you look at it that way, and you just literally pull it apart, you know, verse by verse, and what is it saying? You know, we have to look at it, you know, exactly through Yahuwah's, you know, glasses. We can't look at it through Jesus' glasses, you know, I always say, or Yahusha Jesus' glasses, or anything like that. You know, this isn't about those types of lenses. It's Yahuwah's. He says, my way, not your way. My ways are not your ways. So how in the world could you understand my ways and keep to your own ways and think you're doing my way when you're not, and you're just doing your own way? You know, it's all about him, a jealous God. And I think
absolutely.
I think that's what we need to hammer into people's heads is what exactly are the characteristics of a jealous God?
That you have to talk
what
to him
makes
about?
him jealous. You know, and he tells us very clearly, it's the idol that causes me to jealousy. It's the image that you have created. To say that I am that image and that image is beside me or my son, you know, I mean, and you look at this, he's such a jealous God that he didn't want to make his son, you know, exactly as what he is. He had to make him human. He's so jealous. He's like, ain't no one, no God, no God's son gonna be a God like I am. I will make my children from the dust of the earth, not of what I've been made of. You know what I'm saying? So you can see a clear distinction of just how jealous Yahuwah is. And it's just him alone. You know?
But he's peed off at you now.
Yeah, he's mad at, yeah, all of scattered
He's
Israel.
off at you.
Stop.
Actually, hey Rod, I was in a space the other day with a bunch of Muslims, and there were some Christians in there fighting with them. Like, they're all fighting and stuff. And it was funny because the Muslims, they were all on the same page. And I'm not saying anything good about Muslims, I'm just saying they were all on the same page. And then all the Christians came up and they were fighting amongst each other over Jesus is God, is the law done away with, all this stuff. And Muslims like, you do know that the law's not done away with.
Wow. Yeah, see, I mean, and the
I-
Muslims have it
and-
right.
And I was up there and I was talking to them. They respect Torah, but they don't follow it because they think it's corrupt, which is fine because they brought up a bunch of stuff. And luckily I was there because these Christians, none of them, even the Torah-following Christians, had no clue how to answer any of this stuff. And I honestly was like, I think y'all put me there to help this because they brought up the fact of Chronicles and Samuel, right? Because they don't match. And I was like, well, if you go into the actual details, Chronicles is part of the writings, so it was actually, it came from a Greek translation, which was an overhaul of everything that happened to Israel. So that's how you got to look at that. And the Muslim guy goes, what? And I walked him through it, and he went and looked it up, and he said, oh man, this is, yeah, okay, yeah. And all the Christians were like, what? God's word? What? Like, no. See, God's word, he spoke to Moses. And then he came, just like he says in Numbers. People don't realize this. He says, there's nobody like Moses. I talk to him face to face, but anybody else, I'm going to come to a dream. I'm going to come in a vision. This is how I'm going to, and when you go look at the prophets, what did he do? He came in visions and dreams. And what did he do with Moses? He talked to him face to face.
Well, and here's the thing. He said he talked to him face to face, but Moses was only allowed to see his backside, so he didn't even see his face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it says he's seen his form, but not his. Yeah, you're right. He didn't actually see, his face, but he did see his form.
Yeah.
Which was a burning
Because he was walking across. He was walking across the sapphire above the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually. I just thank him every day for opening my eyes to this stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm just glad that he has enough mercy and he cares about the creation that he made. Even though that we fell and even though we went away from him and led stray lives, he's still there to say, hey, come back, I'm here. Like, he wants everybody to do that, but the problem is that we have these stumbling blocks. Like he said, I'm going to put in the land, and everybody's going after the stumbling blocks, and they're not grasping onto Yahuwah to say, hey, Yahuwah, you are my God.
Right. And that's so detrimental right now, especially the time that we're in right now, because, I follow a lot of, underground reporters, people who are, literally reporting live from these locations, and not, run by media, or, the, world media, nations media. And they're saying, these migrants are coming in, they're claiming gangs, they're meshing with the gangs that are already here, ready to attack Yahuwah's people. I mean, they didn't say it in those words, but they said they are here to attack the U.S. They are here to attack their people. And, I mean, this is just solid ground of what Zephaniah says and what Isaiah talks about. How, Yahuwah is going to bring the sword upon his people because they've left him. There's no wiggle room anymore. And so, it is definitely a blessing, that he chose us to awaken to him alone. And he's not going to allow the ones that he's chosen to go through any of that wrath that he's bringing upon his nation. It's a very special position if Yahuwah does give you the eyes to see and the ears to hear at this moment, because when you look at everything in context, it's the 400 years that is a marker to scattered Israel. Once that 400 marker hits and war is at the doorstep, that's when Yahuwah acts. He's like, I'm getting my people out before that time comes, because the nations that are coming from the north are coming to enslave Yahuwah's people. And then the people who are already here that migrated illegally, they're already in position to do what those who will be invading have called them to do. They're already established here since like 2013. These sleeper cells that they have. So, and I'm saying this not to bring fear to people, but to waken them up and be like, look, this is what is on your doorstep, dear. You have the sword. You have the migrants here stating they are wanting to take you out because they want your position. They want to take your home from you. They want to replace you as the new American because you don't want to follow. And here I'm, scattered Israel's like, hey, here's my house. Come take it if you really want it, because my father's moving me out. We're about to exit this place, so you guys can go ahead and take up reign in these places that are going to be taken into captivity. That's all you. So, we have two different sets of people that are here. Even on X, I talk to a lot of people. I won't mention any names because I'm very good friends with them, but they're prepping all out. They're getting their house in order, duct taping everything, preparing food, everything. I'm like, why are you doing that when Yahuwah said you're just a sojourner here? This is not your land. We are here in the Amorites nations doing, trying to make this life not following their ways and keeping to Yahuwah's. And that 400 years, that's the go time. And so, yeah, you're right. It is a very honored position to be awake right now, serving Yahuwah alone, realizing just how much of a jealous God he truly is, so that we don't have to be part of that. And I'm so glad that you and your wife, Casey, have seen this, because, not just for myself, but, it's refreshing to see Yahuwah's people finally waking up after so long of them not wanting to, and then coming to the realization. It's a beautiful moment. It's a very humble moment.
Yeah. So what I've noticed lately, me and my wife, like I said, it's just been a month, but what I've noticed lately is that when I repented of idol worship, right? Because that's what it was. It was idol worship. Because I was replacing and putting somebody in place of God. So that was idol worship. When I realized that, when I repented from that, Deuteronomy 28 started manifesting in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the first 13 verses. And what is the first 13 verses of Deuteronomy 28? It's the blessings.
You want to go ahead and read them?
And one of my biggest things that really has been coming on my mind lately, and this is one question, and I haven't asked anybody it yet, but if JC was, if he was truly the Messiah, why did he never talk about the blessings of the law? why did he never do that? Why did he never write a copy of his own Torah and carry it around and read it to people?
Great
Like it says.
point. Yes.
Like it tells in Deuteronomy, it tells that the king in 17, it says that he has to carry and read a Torah daily. Why wasn't he doing this? Why did he never read? Why did he only read from Isaiah once? Why is there only one thing that talks about Isaiah being read by him? Why wasn't nothing else read by him? Why didn't he ever read Moses? These are important details. Yes, they're very, very small details, but they're very important to understand. Like, where's all this at, you know?
Right. No, you're right. I mean, and this is the argument, that Shaul has too about King David is, where does it say that he wrote the Torah? But he, in the Psalms, he says he meditated on it day and night. So if he meditated on it day and night, chances are he wrote it so that he could meditate on it day and night, because, the Torah was not in his possession. It was in the tabernacle, it was in the tent. So he had to have had his own copy if he was meditating on it day and night. That's just kind of logic there. But yeah, Jesus had to do all of those things there to claim himself as the Messiah. There were specific specifications that a Messiah had to meet in order to be considered an anointed one. And each one of the anointed ones did. As king, that was their duty. Like you said, they had to read and write Torah and meditate on it and memorize it, basically. They were councils, like Cyrus, Hezekiah, all of these people. And not once did the Messiahs ever claim that they could save. They always gave the credit of saving to Yahuwah. So, it's another thing that Jesus says, that we're saved through his blood. But the Father's like, no. Blood defiles the land. Why would I send human blood to be sacrificed, knowing that it defiles my land, so you could be atoned for your sins? That would make him a changeable God. And Yahuwah says that he doesn't change. So many contradictions when you just break it down and look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll let you go to bed. I know you got to get up and work tomorrow. But yeah, if you guys open another space, I'll try to come make it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, because we have the new moon feast coming up, so that's definitely something to hold a space for. And then we have Shavuot, which is the Feast of Weeks that's coming up on the 11th. And then on the 14th, what was it? The harvesting, the gathering of the harvest is something that Shaul mentioned. So these are pretty important feast days that the Father has set aside for us to look at and gather upon. Because it's about the harvest. The wheat and the tares are now being gathered. Is this the time when Yahuwah is going to bring upon the destruction? I don't know. I'm not a date setter. I hate, date setting anything. But the way things are looking, with the way the nations are lining up and the things that Russia is saying with NATO, and Ukraine now using USA's missiles, there's a huge crosshair that the United States has put themselves in between with Russia. So we're on the brink of something happening extremely soon, and I don't know, these meetings are divine, and we're supposed to be keeping them and honoring them. And I think that talking about these types of things, getting into scripture and assembling with one another during these times that these things are happening is super, super important, because it's going to keep us grounded in the Father alone, and at the same time keep us knitted together as a family, so we're not all going through this alone, because there's things that are going to happen. And I was not contemplating, but just really dwelling on these things, like when they start popping off, is our heart spiritually ready to see these things? Because we're going to see things that, and I'm probably quoting this from the New Testament, I'm sure, that kings and queens have wanted to see their entire life, the end of all, ages, I want to say. I don't want to say the end of the world, because it's just the beginning of a new age, is what the Torah basically says. It's not the end of the world. It's just a remnant that rises out and follows the Father, and at some point perhaps they do get corrupted. I don't know. Is this the final of the finals, where the resurrection does happen and the dead are raised to life? Is this that time? So all of this is just really, really important, that we come together and talk about all of these things and find out where we are exactly in Scripture, and what comes next. Because if we're walking back to Eden, we have to know exactly how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to dodge these witches that are trying to throw these spells at us with the "you're an antichrist" speech.
you just you hear the name that they're used, and you're like, oh, that name doesn't have any power. Where did you come up with that one? Because, I'm getting that too. Like, people are literally, like, bringing curses. Like, they're claiming to be witches, but, like, they're claiming that they're Jesus witches. And I'm like, really? Jesus had witches? Okay.
He did not. It never said anything like that in the New Testament.
Well, rumor has it that, the people that wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, they were, basically warlocks that practiced Judaism, Mithraism. Did you know in Second Enoch? I don't know if you read that book, but in the Second Enoch, it talks about the Melchizedek, whatever, however you say his name, King of Righteousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it says that the last one, right? This is what's funny. It says the last one will come, right? And everybody thinks that JC is in the order of this, right? Even though it says in the manner of in the Hebrew. I don't know why they keep saying the order of. But anyway, they say he's in the order of it. But in Second Enoch, in the Apocrypha, it says that the 13th one, weird, right? The 13th one will come. He will do healings, miracles, and do all these things. But then he goes and dies and is buried in the middle of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, then this is where they're getting these things. And not only that, but in the book of Enoch 1, we found out that the book of the Son of Man, or the Messianic prophecy book that they use to say that this is, confirms JC as the Son of Man or whatever, they didn't even find that, and they went and stole it from the Ethiopian canon.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. And
that right there.
When you think about the book of Enoch, I think, honestly, Enoch 2, I haven't dug into it. I've heard about the book. I've never read it. I have a friend who claims to be Metatron, so I'm like, oh, geez. And another one who claims to be the spirit of Elijah. I've not really dug into these things, but as far as Enoch 1 goes, I see that being King David, because it talks about the branch, and the branch, fails, which would be Solomon, who failed, and then the title is back to King David, who then then scattered Israel becomes the vine, right? So there's a lot of there to unpack with Enoch. when you're breaking down all of the symbology of it, of the branch, the vine, the stump, the trunk, if you will. But I see it pointing all back to the seed of Jesse, King David.
Yeah.
Because even Genesis 49, it says the scepter of Judah. Well, the first king that was chosen was Saul. But Saul failed. So then Yahuwah chose King David, and King David's line was linked with the seed of Jesse, because Saul didn't come from the seed of Jesse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I had a question about that real quick. Wasn't Joshua the high priest and Zechariah, wasn't he the branch?
Yes. Yes, that is the vision that Zechariah sees. He sees the vision of Joshua at the mount with Yahuwah when he is giving the order of you will go astray, and Joshua he's standing on the corner of the altar with a stone. That makes him the cornerstone, the trusted stone of which we were supposed to be relying on, right? Because yes, he was ordered over the priesthood specifically. Yes, I'm so glad you pointed that out. So glad you pointed that out, because so many people miss that.
Well, I mean, the issue with that is that in the context it says it in the next verse that who the branch was.
Yeah, I know.
That was unbelievable. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like when I started realizing all this stuff, I was just like, I was an idiot. It was right here, right in front of my face the whole time. And I was like, man, this is, I beat myself up for a couple days going, oh my goodness, I can't believe this.
Right. Yeah.
It's like I should actually do more reading than actually trying to, bring in a character into something that was never there.
Well, right. I mean, if you look at the text before, and this is what I was taught, what is before the text that you're trying to figure out who is who, and what is after, because oftentimes the context is going to tell you, it's going to fall in line, because it's storyline that we're reading. It's going to fall in some kind of order.
Absolutely. I don't know what you think about Daniel chapter 7, but when I was reading that, me and my wife were looking over that, and it says that, so the Son of Man comes on the clouds, right? Mm-hmm. And the Ancient of Days goes before the Ancient of Days and all that. We actually read down even further, and it says, this is the vision of what the angel gave to Michael, and you keep reading, and it says, the kingdom's given to his people. So if you go into the vision, right? So the vision shows the Ancient of Days and the Son of Man going in front. The Son of Man is his people in that vision.
Yep.
And that's what the angel just says. He interprets the dream to him. And I'm just like, why didn't I read this? Why did I just stop at this and say, oh, see, there's the Son of Man right there. That's got to be Jesus. And I did that. And I'm being honest about that. I did that.
Oh, yeah, I did it too. I mean, I'm not one to deny it. Yeah. Right. It's just, we have to literally piece out word by word, is what I found. And keywords are so important to pull out. The Strongs, one thing that helped me to understand, what was being said is using the Strongs. If you look at the different ways that the word is being used, it helps you to understand what the context is that's being said, in the storyline of what the prophet or whoever is speaking of. That's what I found is keywords. You got keywords and you plug them into the Strongs. It tells you a whole different story. But yeah, you're right. About the Son of Man being Israel, being the suffering servant, Jacob, and all being Israel, and that's what Isaiah 1-7. I did. I don't know if you were on my video that I did but I did the breakdown. I read Isaiah 1 through 7, and it literally just back to back is Jacob is Israel, Israel the suffering servant. I chose him, and I chose Isaiah to be the one to go forth into the nations and declare these things, which they give credit to Jesus, saying that that's him who goes into the land spreading the good news. It's like,
It's reverse psychology.
basically,
Well,
yeah.
No, not
All right.
basically.
One more thing. I just we really don't have anybody to talk to about this stuff because everybody's shunned us off Twitter, basically.
Yeah. No, I'm here. Anytime
one
you
more
want to
thing.
talk, brother.
The Hosea 11:1, right, where they have the Luke thing, where Luke says, I think it's Luke. I don't whatever gospel made it up, saying that. Oh, it's Matthew. Sorry, went into Egypt because Herod was killing babies. Even though John the Baptist was a baby and he wasn't killed, but he didn't move, or there is no story of that. So I don't know what happened there. But when it says that I called my son out of Egypt, they literally cut that line in half and use the last part of it and don't even read the first part.
Yeah.
And then I told the guy, I said, this is talking about Israel. He's like, yeah, but why? He's like, why does there have to be another prophecy? Can't that one be the same for Jesus too? I said, no, because it was already fulfilled.
Exactly.
He literally called them out of Egypt with Moses. Like, how does it symbolize this guy? That makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the fact that it's a repeat, though, too, of, every 400 years, I think that also allows the confusion to set in, because you have all these, you have the Sumerians who are talking about, for instance, like the flood. There's just all these other civilizations that have their own story of a flood. They have their, but it's just all of these civilizations of 400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years. So yeah, it did happen. We're just repeating it all over again. And yeah, it is Israel. It's a remnant that rises out of Egypt as the chosen ones, and Yahuwah is with them. It's the total understanding of Isaiah's 5 children's names. And you see all 5 used in every single prophet's writings, where he takes them and he gives them the Torah, and he says, you're going into this land, you're going to be, chased down by this nation, they're going to try and change my ways, my seasons, my laws, they're going to try and get you to serve the nation's ways, then I'm going to plunder you because you're going to go that way, but then I'm going to raise you back out. In every single story that you see, that's what it is. Especially in the book of Kings. He tells them, I raised them up, they served me, I took them back to me. They didn't want to serve me, I let them be taken captive, their women's bellies ripped open, men, given off into captivity, women, children, rape, all this stuff. Then I come back and I rescue them again. It's a repeat. That's all the Torah is a repeat. But a remnant always rises out. And I think that once Christians and Messianics grasp and understand really what Isaiah's children's names mean, because every time I talk to them, they always want to go back to the Isaiah 7 sign. I'm like, but that's not talking about that. It's talking about Isaiah's 5 children's names. And then you ask them, well, how many names did Isaiah have? And they come up with 2 or 3, and you're like, that's why you don't understand the storyline. That's why you don't understand what the prophets are saying. In my opinion. At least that's how it came around to me when I was shown this.
It's just a replacement. It's just the same thing. Like he says, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just
it's still a replacement. Here we are again. People want another man as a king, but not Yahuwah. Just again, it's a merry-go-round with these people, and I was one of those people. So I understand. Like I can see like, but what's funny? It's like Yahuwah put me through 10 years of this. It was, I guess, to come out of it, to be able to go against it. Because I mean, I can honestly, I can really go into the New Testament and teach it both ways. I can teach the New Testament as gracey grace, or teaching the law and grace at the same time, but it still doesn't line up with the Tanakh, because if you go into a lot of the prophecies that the New Testament uses, and you go read the same ones, it's like, wait a minute, they left out a lot of stuff. Wait a minute, they changed a lot of stuff, because in Hebrews it says that God basically got rid of Israel completely. And he never said that. Jeremiah 3, and now I understand when I asked Shaul this, when I said, oh, what about the divorce? He was like, what? And now I understand why he was like, what are you talking about? Because when I went back and read all the verses that talked about this, it was a parable about him putting them away as meaning to scatter them into nations and no longer be in his people. It wasn't a physical divorce. It was more of parables to say, I scattered them and they're no longer my people because they're not in the land as I promised Abraham.
Right. Well, I mean, the marriage, the ketubah is very important though too. So I mean, because he does say that he did write us a writ of divorce. So it was definitely a physical thing too. When you look at it, because he says that, like we read in Hosea 2, where it says, I was a husband to you and you left me. So he really was co-joined to Jacob as, well, not even, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because we're the bride, obviously, of Yahuwah. But then, when we went and we strayed, we offered sacrifices to the idol, the golden calf, that, really, gave Yahuwah the grounds to divorce us. But then he says he annuls our time with death, because if you, I guess, you cheat upon your husband, is the punishment death in this case. Is that how Yahuwah is looking at this? Because he's going to kill those who do not serve him. So this is a life and death situation, when you're looking at it as far as a marriage goes. But I mean, I don't see that in the Torah as far as for us, as if we divorce somebody, and if we continue to be with somebody else, we're not going to be killed for that, is what I'm saying. So I think that the marriage part is pretty important, but in the aspect of us breaking the marriage vow, and the whole point of the new covenant being made was a covenant with a father and his son. So it couldn't be annulled or done away with. You can't divorce, the saying, you can't divorce your children, you can divorce wives, So that's kind of where I'm seeing that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just throwing an idea out because because I was looking at how I used to explain it. Because like when I said like, oh well, you divorced them, and this is why this guy had to come and die as old Israel, because he followed the old covenant, right? And he would die under the old covenant And when he rose, that's when the new covenant would come. So now everybody that gets grafted through him is dead in his death, so that now we are spotless in front of Yahuwah again, to where we could remarry him. So I never taught, even though that the New Testament talks that Jesus or whatever is we're the bride of him, right? I never taught that. I taught against that, actually. So I was actually probably one of the, like, on Twitter, I was always called the law pusher out of all the Christian gatherings. I was the toughest in the Torah with, this is what we go by. Like, I was constantly with that all the time. Like, if it doesn't match the Torah, I'm not accepting it. I did that for probably 4 years. I was like, if it's not in Torah, I'm not accepting it. You know what I mean? And, like, people call me, like, a Torah pusher, law pusher, and all, like,
Torah
Pharisee,
Nazi.
like,
What does a Nazi
yeah,
mean?
and I was even still preaching faith through this guy will get you. It's not the law, you know. And it's like, man, I was just so blind with it. It's so crazy. But with the whole husband thing, I like I said, I don't know. I've just started getting into this whole, like, looking at it in a different sense. You know what I'm saying? So you could be right what you're saying, and I could be definitely wrong, or I could be right. I don't know. But I will research it more. But I think more of the husband talk with him is more of an analogy of saying that, because they always try to use that divorce thing, and they get around with it. Well, he had to die so we could be clean in front of Yahuwah to be married again. And I'm
But
just
see,
like, man,
that
that's
doesn't
so
line up with Torah either, because human blood,
Yeah, I know.
you know, so I mean, that theology's out the window of theirs. You just got to mention that one thing, and then they can't stand.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah, I get that. I was just saying that's their runaround, though.
Yeah.
And I used to do it, and I knew it, so that's why I was like, okay, well then, if that's going to be their coming at it, then okay, well where's this at in Torah that says that a Messiah would have to come and die for everybody's sin, when, you know, it clearly says in the prophets that everyone's accountable for their own sin. So
Right.
what changed?
Well, here's one too. You know, can you find John 3:16 in the Torah? John 3:16 in the Torah. Okay, Jacob's a son. Joseph is a son. Ephraim is a son, and David is a son. Which one's the begotten?
Oh, and Israel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in Israel, right.
Yep.
So which one's the
Exodus
begotten? That's what you gotta ask the Christians. Which one is the only begotten? Which one? They can't.
Israel is actually because in Exodus 4, Israel's called his firstborn.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason. If you don't let my firstborn go, I'm going to take yours, Pharaoh. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's very clear there. Not only that, but where is John 1:1 at in the Torah?
Which one? Which John 1:1 say?
The Word was God, and the God came in flesh, and the flesh is God, or whatever.
Oh,
That one?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misquoted that bad, but it's something along that line. God is with God, and God
The Word was
the
God.
Word, Word was God.
And the Word
Yeah,
was
that-
with
where's
God,
that
and the
at
Word was
before?
flesh. Yeah. I know. Well, they take that from the Genesis 1:26. Because I asked a Christian brother, I'm like, can you tell me? I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. Just tell me where you were getting that from. And they told me it's from Genesis 1:26 when it says, or not 1:26 when it says, it's in Genesis. Don't know the exact chapter, but where it says, "Let us make them in our image." You know, like male and female as being flesh, not as being male and female. When the point of it wasn't that they were made of flesh, It was to separate their genitalia. There's, you're male, you're female. You are in the image of me. And this is what I say. I say that wisdom was with Yahuwah in the beginning, because that's what Proverbs says. That's what the wisdom of Solomon says in chapters 1 and 9. And Proverbs 3:8. They all say that wisdom was with Yahuwah in the foundations and the creations of the earth. And he says there's an us with him, and I'm totally standing firm on this, is that wisdom is possibly Yahuwah's wife, because she was with him in the beginning. And Yahuwah says to seek wisdom, and when you seek wisdom, you find knowledge. So if Yahuwah says that he's knowledge, and he says that wisdom is a spirit. So if Yahuwah is a spirit and wisdom is a spirit, and they have each other, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like a marriage.
Yeah. No, and not only that, but if you think about where it says that Yahuwah sent his spirit to this person, right? And he did it to what? All of the prophets, and they were speaking what? Wisdom. So that makes sense that that's what his spirit would be. But there is no second nature for his son's gonna be was created before everything, and he had to come and do all there's nothing in prophecy for that.
No,
none of that.
There's not. And when Christians try and bring that up, that's why you got to use the Proverbs. The Proverbs, Solomon had Yahuwah's wisdom. He had her. Not only that, another spirit that is mentioned, there's prudence. And Yahuwah, we don't know if Yahuwah had multiple wives. He said not to have many, but that doesn't mean he didn't have 2 or 3. And polygyny is not, it's not forbidden in the Torah. They had several wives, but a king could not have many. And, this is where King David went in error. He had many. So did Solomon.
Yeah. Yeah, Deuteronomy 17 says that if a king goes and increases his number of wives, then he will go astray, is what it says. I believe that's what it says in Hebrew when I was reading it today, because I was talking to somebody today, because it's funny that you brought that up, because somebody else brought it up and was like, is this against Bible? And I said, not necessarily, but I do believe that King David and Solomon did sin by chasing multiple wives.
Yeah, well, King David...
Even though Yahuwah gave David wives, I get all that, but there were some that Yahuwah did not give him right away, and he went after, and I believe that's what happened. But I think you are right. There is no law that says that you can have multiple wives, but it does say be careful, because you will go astray because of this.
Well, it says for the king, specifically the king, because the king is the ruler. Absolutely. Yeah. And he's at the right hand of the Father.
Yeah, you're right. It's the king, absolutely.
So, and that's one of the tiffs, that Shaul has too. It's like he can't be the Messiah because he had many wives. But it doesn't say that he couldn't either. And here's something too. I really do believe that King David was also of a priesthood. Because when you look at Isaiah 7 and you read about King Ahaz's father, it tells you that his father, King of Judah, was a priest and a king. So if King Ahaz's father was a priest and a king, wouldn't that mean that every line before King Ahaz's father would have been a priest and a king as well? It would have to have carried up through the lineage. So David had to have been a priest, because King Ahaz's father was. And he's a descendant. He was a king of Judah. Through the line. I don't know if you caught that or not.
No, you kind of broke up, but yeah, I heard what you. Yeah.
So, and I told Shaul that, and he was like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, it's right there, though. How do you not know? Because we go back and forth. You know, he's totally against the prophet's writings, but yet was part of a prophecy. So, explain that one.
Who does he think the prophet is that gets raised up after Moses? Joshua?
Yes. Yes, he believes
So
that Joshua is the Messiah.
So does he read the Joshua prophet book too, or no?
He doesn't. No, he literally is Genesis to Deuteronomy.
Okay.
But I mean, you know,
No,
he
fair
doesn't
enough.
say that Joshua's the Messiah, but he said, you know, if there had to be a Messiah figure, that would be who he would go with, because he was the replacer of the anointed one, which was Moses. You know, which he succeeds, but it's, you know, the wording again. Yahuwah says very clearly that Joshua, you are over the priesthood, not anything else. Doesn't say anything about him being a Messiah, unless the Messiah, you know, in the Torah was also a priest too. But that would make sense too then. But he was also from a different tribe. Joshua was from the tribe of Ephraim, I believe.
Yep.
So he couldn't be of Levitical descendant. But then again, you know, then you're looking at it and you're like, but wait a minute, King David, I don't know. The lineage is so messed up, you know, like I question sometimes the prophet's writings too. I do. Because, you know, we're supposed to go back to just the Torah. And the Torah doesn't mention anything about a Messiah. Anywhere.
Yep. I was about to say that, Raw. I was about to say, because that's what we were looking at too. And that's kind of what we came to, is that there's not really a special Messiah coming, but there are multiple Messiahs within the prophets that would line up with the Torah saying that there isn't a certain one coming. But if you look at Moses, right, what is Moses? Moses is a king and a priest, but he was born from what? 2 Levites.
Right. Exactly.
And he was a king too.
Well, he was a prince, because Yahuwah is king.
But yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. And the same thing is said about King David, but all the prophets say King David.
Isn't King David
And I
the
think,
Messiah?
I think the prophet, even though it's King David and all that, but I think David was a prophet in the line of Moses. That's where I'm at right now with it. And we're going to continue to study it, because if you match, okay, a prophet's going to be like me, he's going to be a king and a priest. This is Moses, right? This is what Moses was. And then David, right, when it says, I'm going to put one shepherd over you, my servant David, right, and he's going to be the predecessor of Moses, which is what I'm thinking, right? So this is how I think. I'm not saying I'm correct, but this is what I think. So instead of the JC guy, take him out of the way and put David back where he was supposed to be.
Yes. And that's
how I see it.
Yes, and that's how I see it too. But the more I look at it is, you know, King David was he was a Moabite. So then, you know, that begs to question, were any of the Levites Moabites? You know what I mean? Like, because that's really important that the bloodline stays with the king. You know, it can't be scattered. You know, if he is a priest, then that would mean that he was from the tribe of Levi, of the Levites, which would mean that the Levites at some point were Moabites, if that was the case.
Yeah, so you definitely make me want to go look at this again, because there is a list of like different, like, because you had the Levites that were known as Korah or Koran or whatever you want to call them. So you had those guys, and then you had some other guys, but Korah got swallowed up because they went up against Moses and tried to lock him in the tabernacle, and God opened the thing and they fell.
Right.
But so you have, but you are bringing some good points up, that there are certain different things, but also in the Torah, the Moabites had to wait 10 generations before they could even come in.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know exactly, like, you know, that part. I have to go look at this, yeah. But you are bringing up some good, interesting points, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, these are always some things that I've, talked to people about, but, they don't want to go and look into it, But yeah, I appreciate you, digging into this. I'd definitely love to hear your perspective on it, to see if it matches up with what I'm being shown as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what, and honestly, like, we've always been that way. I mean, the character showed, I'm telling you, when you told us these things, we went and we were looking for them. We're like, nah, she's not right about this. There's no way. Like, no way. And then we looked at it for, I'd say, about 2 weeks, and we're just like, all right, Yahuwah, you gave us a word, so we had to go look at it.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that Yahuwah, is using us to bring his people, and just hearing your testimony is just, it's just warm and fuzzy feelings inside, and I'm just so thankful that the Father has chosen you and your wife. I really, we're just family. It's lovely, and just, I love that. Just to connect like this. And Sister Ashley, she already, she serves Yahuwah. She's one of Shaul's buddies, and I was in her prayer group. She does a prayer meeting, actually on a Zoom, Casey, if you and your wife are interested in that. Ashley does this prayer, and it was really powerful and quite beautiful. So she's definitely got an anointing going on with her room when she does this on her Zooms. So, we just all should be connecting, under the Father as one, so that when the army is ready to be dispersed, we're full throttle. We're already on the same page. We're playing off of each other, ready to combat this whole thing and take out who needs to be taken out for the Father, and brought back. So, pretty cool. But
I think one of the biggest things with me right now is that in the past month and a half, seeing more stuff happen super left. But every promise that he has said, that's supernatural to me. For him to say these are the promises, and I'm seeing them happen in my life now, and a lot more than they have in the last. I've been an atheist for 14 years now.
oh wow,
So 14 years. Yeah. So in the last month and a half, I've had more blessings in my life than I've had in 14 or 13 years and 11 months.
wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's the Father just telling you straight up, hey, I'm here, Casey, I'm here. I love that.
It was really crazy because 10 years ago, I brought this topic up to my wife. I said, what if the New Testament's not real? And she's like, we're not talking about this. So we left it alone. Until, I guess, God, what I said, God put me through that. He schooled me in this false doctrine to be able to openly spread his true Torah. You know?
Yeah.
It was like he trained you up. He trained you up to be a warrior. Like, it literally says these things. Like, he literally says these, that he's gonna, I mean, your enemies will flee 7 ways from you. I mean, it's just, the blessings are just, they're too good to not have this guy in the New Testament run around claiming to be, you know, God or his son or whatever, and not talking about God's blessings. Not only that, he only mentioned 9 commandments out of the whole Torah.
Right, he leaves out number 1. He leaves out the first one and claims himself.
Well, the main one he leaves out is the Sabbath.
Well, that, I
You know,
mean,
he
that
does.
too.
Yeah, so when he goes and sits in Matthew 5, right, and he goes sits on the mountain and gives out that big speech, he leaves out the Sabbath, and I think he leaves out, he leaves out the first 2 too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's
There's a meme that I come across, and it's so funny.
It's a picture
It's a-
of the Isus character with heels.
No, it's Jesus, and he's praying to the Father, and he's saying, Father, please forgive me for sinning against you, because I'm sinning against myself, so please forgive me. Like, he's like asking for himself to be forgiven to his Father, but he's the Father, so he's forgiving himself for sinning against himself.
And that's the definition
Yeah,
of
that's what-
Jesus right
That's
there.
yeah, they got a couple of memes I've seen where the one that says, God, it's you. Like he's praying to him, you know, and then the one about the Mary one. What did it say? Oh, what did it say? It was a good one. Hang on a second. Something about. Oh man.
Something about the birth.
Oh, it was something about. Yeah, Mary goes, well, you know, you're the one that made you, or something like that.
Says we don't talk about
We don't talk about that, or
because you're the one who technically got me pregnant.
yeah, it said, yeah, because he says, yeah, who's really my father, or something like that, and she goes, oh, we don't talk about that because technically you're the one that got me pregnant.
Yes, I've seen that one. That is a great one. Oh man, we need to find that one. I want to repost that one.
That's a horror. I mean, it is. I mean, it is a good. It's kind of horrible in the sense, but it's just. I mean, think about it. If he's, if he's God, then technically that is correct.
Right, it is. Or how about the one, where knocking and the door will open, or knocking, and you shall receive or whatever, and it shows Jesus knocking on the door.
Wait, what? Let me.
He says, "Let me in. It's me, Jesus." And he says, "What does he say?" Oh my gosh! Why are we blanking at these funny ones for this moment?
Buzzy. No.
So, are you there, God? It's me. No, I guess I'm praying to you. I'm praying to the Father. So I don't know. I'm butchering it, but one of the brothers posted one of those ones where he's like knocking at the door and he's like, open the door. It's me because you're praying to me or something.
My favorite meme has to be the one with Jesus with heels on.
Oh, what's the Jesus heels one?
I don't remember. It was funny though. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, we
It was,
watched
like,
one
in a
where
house.
they showed Jesus in heels. And I'm not sure exactly what the meme was, but yeah, he was watching one earlier about that. Don't do that.
Why?
But all right, well, brother, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this space because it's pretty late, and my boys gotta get up and go to my friend's house, and I gotta go to work.
Bored.
Oh, stop it! You're always bored of something.
Mm-hmm.
So, Thank you so much for joining the space and, just being part and congregating. You and your wife are just absolutely lovely to me. I'm just so blessed to have you guys come to truth and, actually have people to talk to, a married couple. That's powerful. You don't realize the power that you hold being a married couple, knowing truth and walking like this. I mean, there's so much power at your fingertips right now, Casey. You and your wife. Like mountain moving power.
Yeah, it was, other than the question that you asked, there was another thing we were actually discussing Passover. And I think this is where it got my wife, because, is that none of them match. And she's like, wait a minute, this isn't, it was just crazy. But yeah, we definitely could talk again. I appreciate you letting me come up and speak. You guys have a blessed night.
Of course, absolutely. You have a great night too. Shalom. Sister Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and close out the space if you're still there. It shows you're listening. But thank you so much for joining my space and listening to what the Father has presented for us. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and close out the Shabbat session here on Facebook as well as on X. May Yahuwah guide you in His word alone, that you will see exactly what the brother Casey and his wife have seen, that you just begin to start questioning everything around you as far as what you believe. Go back into the New Testament and really deep dive into it and see if everything is lining up with the Torah, because I guarantee you're going to find something that's going to make you question it. You're just going to be like, wait a minute, how come that's not in the Torah? And the more that you start dissecting the Father's ways, which are His Torah, against what the nations have given you as far as the New Testament, you're going to see the inconsistencies there. But you gotta be willing to want to do it. You can't just want to go and listen to regurgitated doctrine from a scholar who gives you, his opinion for one, and then he gives you facts, but he leaves out details with those facts. Like he'll tell you about the Catholic scholar Origen. Many Christians and Catholics rear up this scholar because he's responsible for doing the translation of the prophet's writings and his own book called the Hexapla, also known as the 666, if you haven't looked into this. Definitely something to dig into. But when you find out these inconsistencies and, the people who are saying are supposed to be inspired by God, by Yahuwah, and yet they're worshiping a pantheon of other gods, it really makes you question, who's really the inspirer of this book? Where did it come from? The hard questions begin to surface, and this is what happened with Titus, and his ark, is people like us raised up and were like, why are we being told to serve this Jesus character when we've been told our whole life to serve Yahuwah, one God, and they're trying to promote all of this other worship. These are the things that were silenced. Titus silenced people like us from speaking and asking other people to question these things. It even says, slaves, obey your masters and do not question them. Even women were silenced, right? And women took a great heap of torture because they didn't want to stay silent. The Father raised them up, so it makes you think, all these people who died and were called heretics. Why were they called heretics? Because they were against what the Catholic Church teaches? Because they were against what the New Testament claims? Yeah. Just some things to look into. Joan of Arc, why really was she killed? Was it really what they said it was the reason? I mean, There's a play called The Crucible about witches. Were they really witches? Were they, all of these things have been twisted, indoctrinated, manipulated, so that we don't have understanding. But the Father says when you come back to His ways, His laws, His regulations, His statutes, decrees, ordinance, precepts, and you follow His ways, you're going to find the truth, and the lies will be exposed. So I just encourage you, may you have a desire to want to go and research these things and ask the hard questions, because this is a salvation issue, and everyone's salvation is at stake. Who you choose to worship, who you choose to serve. You choose to serve a jealous God who says Himself alone, or do you choose to serve this Jesus character who says He is God, and that you should fear Him, because if you don't, then you don't love the Father, or you don't fear the Father, or whatever He says. It's just a bunch of nonsense gibberish, however you look at it. Yahuwah said Himself alone, and if we can't get back to that, well then this message isn't for you, and your ears will be closed, and your eyes will be closed too, and you will perish, just like the Father says you will. So the time to get it right is now. It's not about when you want to get it right. It's when the Father says it's time now. And only Yahuwah's chosen hear His voice. So if you don't hear His voice, and He's not telling you to come back to Him alone, and you think He's telling you to serve the nation's God through the New Testament, then you're sadly deceived, and this holds no value for you. But if you are walking with the Father, and this word has been edifying and fulfilling to you, please consider donating. My son is fatherless, and Yahuwah says that there is great blessing when you donate, and help out those who are fatherless, widow, and orphans. And we're supposed to help our own first. That's what what we're told in the law. You help your own first. Okay? A lot of pastors will tell you, oh, if you give to me, even though you're suffering, the blessing will be... No, that's not what the Father says. Let's get that clear. It says you do your own, right? You take care of your own. You make sure that you are, you have bills paid, you have things taken care of, and then, you give your increase. But, when you give before any of your bills, there is something that's mentioned to that too. The first 10th of your offering is blessed, right? So you're not supposed to give everything that you have and not, provide for yourself, is what I'm saying. Maybe I worded it a little bit, differently. But yeah, that 10% or whatever the free will offering is for the widow, the fatherless, or the orphan, we're responsible for that as Scattered Israel. So, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope this has been edifying and renewing for you. What, Nathan? No, honey, we're going to go close it out. You need to go to bed. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Please.
It's ending.